Hello, good people of CMT. My name is Alice, and I'm here today to showcase a few of my patches in VCV Rack. Now, this is the software emulation of the real deal, which is the hardware Eurorack modular synthesizer. And so this has been getting us used to modular synthesis and how that works. And so I was going to showcase a few of my patches. Both of these patches are generative, meaning they don't require any input from a keyboard or MIDI input. They simply create and evolve and change on their own. So let's explore this first patch. I'm just going to showcase it here. Now this is a soundscapey ambient patch, and it's the first one that I made. And we're starting here with a horror, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but a large mixing desk here. We've got this lovely texture synthesizer up here, and we've got our master clock, which is running into a mult. So a mult is like a signal multiplier. I guess it's in the name, but that's going to a macro oscillator, a random sampler, and this random generator. So the random modulator really helps with the generative aspect. And this is sort of happening in pulses. We've got a couple of scopes to see what's going on. These scopes are sort of modulating various aspects of the first voice. So I've got it set up where it's one voice per rack. We've got this sort of like reggae, Stevie Wonder, Superstition sounding, chorusy sort of sound as our first voice. And so that's happening here. We've got the tidal modulator and adjusting things like the harmonics. That's being modulated, as well as various other sort of things as well. This timbre is being modulated. That parameter is being modulated as well by these what you see going on in the scopes. Sorry, I'm like tongue-tied. Then we've got our second voice, which is sort of this sort of wave of a resonant sort of frequency coming in every so often. It's sort of lower, it's sort of a bit buzzier. We've got this feline stereo filter. Again, this is sort of giving it like a moody feel. So I get the sense that this sort of like patch could be used as like just constant evolving background music for like an art installation or something like that, where like people are just walking around and it puts them in like a contemplative mood or something like that. So we got the clock here. It's triggering the resonator. Yeah. And then our last voice down here is sort of a plucky sounding, it's sort of a randomly generated note, which is going through chromatically up and down the scale here. We've got these tenuverters, which are sort of just helping carry the signal. This is going through a step sequencer, which we can see there. Everything's being controlled by sort of triggers through our random sampler and our clocks and our mults. Yeah, so that's the first patch. Moving on to the second one, we've got a techno patch, which well, that was the idea when I made it. Let me turn that down a little bit. Now I learned a couple things from the first one. The first one was color coding your cables, so you can sort of see it's a bit less confusing, a bit less overstimulating. So in this patch we've got all of the red cables are our audio signals, and all of the blue cables are the miscellaneous signals. So it's a little bit clearer here. We've got a MindMeld Mixmaster mixer and the aux bander as well, so we can see our auxiliary sends. And so this one actually reflects like the top-down approach we've been taught in CSP, which is sending our main output or our master bus to a distortion plugin and then to a compressor, and then the compressor is going to our main output. So it's that top-down approach which helps to choose your sounds and choose your sound and craft, and all sorts of mixing decisions. And in our main auxiliary effect, we've got this lovely plateau reverb. So because we're using one reverb and we're sending everything to the one reverb, for example, we can send a kick to that reverb if we want. It like helps with the glue of everything. So yeah, I forgot to mention, but there's a lot of like aspects in these patches which you can adjust in real time for like a performative patch. We haven't done that here because this is more of a demonstration. We've got a couple graphics in this one, which is nice. I liked how this artwork like has the same colors as the cables, and this guy's just grooving along. Again, we've got the master clock here, and that's connected to a gate sequencer. So each of these 4 lines of sequences are controlling a various element of the patch, but they're all connected to this 127 BPM clock. And so our first voice up here is a bass drum. So I've been using these horror drum samplers, or drum synthesizers I should say, but they create your drum, hi-hat and snare drum sounds. So sorry, the kicks, hi-hat, snare sounds, and a lot of tweaking has gone on here to sort of get these sounding sort of how I like. Both of these patches are quite dark sounding, not a huge amount of like high or high mid information, but I kind of like the moody vibe. So these have been tuned, and there's also an envelope generator which is affecting all of these sounds here. So the snare drum, the hi-hat and the bass drum. We've got the accent is being modulated for a few of these, I believe, and that sort of helps create a bit more variation in the drum sounds, helps it sound more organic, more interesting. Then we've also got this delay, the Prince of Perception by Flag, which adjusts the filter. That's just kind of like a cool sound to fill in the otherwise quite sparse patch. And then you can change it, set to 8th note dotted delay. And then from there, we've got, after we had the drum machine set up, we've got kick sequence here, hi-hat sequence here, and our snare here. And then this one is controlling that sort of rushing stereo sound that you can hear. Again, we're using that stereo filter. And then this is like a really quirky sounding, strange generator, I suppose. So we've got the random here going to a VCA voltage control oscillator, and then I was experimenting with how LFOs can create that sort of rushing up and down sound. So it's not even just modulating the low range, it's creating that sort of rushing, swelling kind of sound. So it kind of helps with the creepy ambiance. And we've got this tidal modulator set up again, going to the macro oscillator, random sampler, triggering that oscillator, adjusting things like the frequency, the harmonics. Harmonics are being modulated by tidal modulator, and then also filter. So like I've experimented with a lot of different ways that you can like craft your sound. So like your envelope modulator, sorry, your envelope module controlling some of your drum sounds, your delay module, and then your filter module, which I've got this set to a bandpass kind of model, because I was kind of liking all the weird sounds that were happening. Like, it's very dissonant and very cool, I feel. But I wanted to get rid of some of the really muddy low-end information. And so, yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot else to talk about. I don't know if there's much else to chat about with this one. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, or at least it hasn't been too painful to sit through my explanation of these patches. And thanks again for teaching the class, and look forward to taking this to the next level in my EP. Cheers.